The following is an AZPM original production.
Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For Arizona Public Media, I'm Tim Swindle, Professor Emeritus of Planetary Science at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Joining me today is John Wiens, a Professor of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology at the university. Welcome back, John.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
John, you had a study not too long ago about when animals' use of coloration evolved. What do animals use color for?
Well, in terms of being colorful themselves, when they produce the colors themselves, it's often for two main things, at least for bright colors, conspicuous colors. And one of those is for warning coloration. So they'll be toxic like a snake or a poison frog, and they're basically warning predators not to eat them. The other major use is as sexual signals. So we think of brightly colored animals like guppies or peacocks, and it seems to be a sexual signal in those species.
When did the various kinds of color strategies evolve for animals that are colorful?
Well, the interesting thing is they actually mostly seem to have evolved in the last 150 to 100 million years. So, again, the color vision evolved about 500 million years ago, and then these two main functions of conspicuous colors evolved mostly in the last 100 million years. And within animals that have them, they evolved hundreds of times. We could say that there was an explosion of color about 100 million years ago up to the present.
That seems like a long time, from 500 million to 100 million, and then there's an explosion of color. Any idea what drove that?
We're not 100% sure. So it's a little bit of a mystery. It's also in the fossils, too. There doesn't seem to be any evidence or very little evidence of these colors, these conspicuous colors, before about 150 or 100 million years ago.
And the conspicuous colors, it's everything from peacock's feathers to the skin of frogs. Is it all sorts of different kinds of color evolving at the same time?
Yeah, it does seem to be. And in fact, what we found in land vertebrates, this is Zach Emberts and I, my postdoc, there's sort of a similar palette of colors that's used both as warning signals and as sexual signals. So there's a little bit more use of blue as a sexual signal than as a warning signal, but it's pretty much the same.
Is there some reason that those colors are easier to produce with the proteins that are involved or something like that?
Those are kind of the main non-cryptic colors, the main conspicuous colors, the ones that kind of stick out from a background of, say, gray or brown.
Do we know what the first animals were to use color as a evolutionary strategy?
One of the oldest ones is in fish. So like the ancestors of guppies and needlefish, and also flying fish. So that group, that was about 100 million years ago. Some of the origins in butterflies are pretty old.
How do plants fit into this?
It seems like they probably became colorful. They evolved these fruits and fleshy coated seeds maybe around 300 million years ago. And that was in the gymnosperms, right? So that's things like junipers, like with juniper berries, right? So that's about 300 million years ago. And the other major usage of conspicuous colors in plants is flowers, right? And that's probably about 200 million years ago that those evolved.
Any clue why some animals went for conspicuous colors while others tried to blend in?
Sort of blending in is kind of the default. And so, again, it's these evolving to be conspicuous that's happened much more recently. And one of the things we found is that the warning signals are much more widespread. And the reason why we think that is because basically you don't need to have color vision or even have eyes to have warning signals, because you're signaling to the predator, not to members of your own species. And so we think that a lot of the evolution of the warning signals might have been related to three groups that are common predators, that widespread predators during the daytime, and that is birds, lizards, and then in the water, ray-finned fishes. And so all these origins in the marine environment are probably evolving as a defense against ray-finned fishes. And then a lot of the evolution of warning signals is on land is related to protection against birds and lizards.
Our guest today has been John Wiens, who's been investigating how the use of color in living organisms evolved. This is Tim Swindle, and you've been listening to Arizona Science. You can also listen to this and other Arizona Science segments by going to the AZPM website at azpm.org.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science. AZPM podcasts are made possible in part by donations from listeners like you. Learn more at support.azpm.org. Thank you.